Hi, welcome to Eastern Wellness with Dr. Sufei Kaim. Eastern Wellness with Dr. Kaim is a weekly podcast meant for anyone looking for ways to improve the quality of their life, regardless of their current health status. Eastern Wellness with Dr. Kaim covers a variety of different health and wellness topics like nutrition, sleep, exercise, toxins, emotional health, and so much more. Dr. Kaim interviews health experts about tips, techniques, and trends in wellness, as well as regular people who have their own wellness pearls to share. For more health and wellness tips and resources, visit Dr. Sufei Kaim's YouTube channel, and that's Dr. Sufei Kaim, Sufeikime. Thanks for listening.
So on today's episode, I sit down and talk with Joseph Antell, and he is a mentor for a lot of doctors in the past half century. He has a great impact of my healing journey after lost my husband 4 years ago. Also, the very exciting news, he just finished a book. It's called Adjuvant Protocol for Healing. And I use it every day during my practice. So, Joe, could you tell us about yourself and what you do and area of your expertise?
Sure. Wonderful to be with you, Dr. Kaim, and anyone that will be sharing in this experience with us today. Yes, I have been, next year I will have been in the holistic healthcare field for 50 years. So in 1972, I began studying Dr. Royal Lee's work and his gifts to humanity, and began teaching that to doctors and working as a sales representative for the company. During these 50 years, I have also been in practice. So the majority of my practice now, as Dr. Kaim indicated, is helping other health practitioners regain their health, because we cannot, to the extent we can help others, is to the extent that we have helped ourselves. We have allowed ourselves to be blessed, to be loved and blessed and taking care of ourselves. And so that has been my goal. And that's why that I wrote this compilation of healing protocols. Adjuvant, by the way, is a word that means adjunctive or supportive. So we never want to take away from what anyone else is doing in the health field, but support them. And those of us as holistic practitioners, that's what we do. These are our gifts to humanity, to help them with lifestyle and supplements, and just assisting them on their journey, no matter how long or short that is, into the next phase, the next cycle of their life, or through their health crisis, or just to maintain a good, healthy lifestyle.
Awesome. So what are your 3 top wellness tips?
Well, if we look at what most people teach, obviously what we put into our mouths determines the outcome, whether that is a medication that we're putting into our mouths, a food, the type of water we're drinking, the type of air we're breathing, what we expose ourselves to, our body temples to, determines the outcome. And so the 3 things that most of you have heard before, obviously that I would suggest center around diet and whole food supplements, not synthetic vitamins. and as few medications as possible. The second, of course, is to find your flow in life, your rhythm, and that what's called the circadian rhythm, the rhythms of life. All of the earth works and functions and lives and breathes based on the day-night cycle. Animals, plants, except for human beings, unfortunately. But that's how, and what we teach is how to get people back into honoring these natural cycles, which focus on movement during the day, what we've called exercise, but it may not be. The exercise may be working in your garden. And there's a wonderful series of books called The Blue Zone, where they have studied centenarians from around the world, people that live over 100, and what they do. And they move throughout the day. They move when they get up in the morning, then they rest. They move in the afternoon, then they rest. And they sleep in a very balanced way. I'm not going to go through the whole book, but those are great books to read and to take a page, ironically, or so to speak, from those books as far as our own living. So that movement during the day, now to simplify this, I teach everyone, and I do myself, we all should be walking in nature, not on treadmills inside our homes. And of course, during the winter, you have to do that. But movement in nature, 30 to 60 minutes a day. Now, of course, one needs to build up to that, of course. And as far as sleep, we should go to bed with the sun, and we should get up with the sun, as close to that as we can. Every hour of sleep before midnight is worth 2 hours of sleep after midnight. So the third area relates to happiness, living a stress-free life. And as we all have experienced in the last year and a half, we have been under tremendous amounts of stress, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And so finding our place of happiness and living out of that place is the third most important approach to living life and encouraging and inspiring other people to live. No matter what that takes, one must do that. And of course, that is a whole lecture in and of itself, how one does that. But so those are the three areas.
So what's your favorite success story? Can you share with us?
Sure. Well, the saying goes, physician, heal thyself. And so I would say to that, it has been my own journey through cancer. I was started to get very sick in 2005, and I was diagnosed finally with cancer, a type of lymphatic cancer called follicular lymphoma in 2007. And I was completely cured by 2009. And so that journey has, in the midst of my long career, they say everything happens for a reason. Well, that is the reason. That is the primary reason that I am still here and teaching today, my success on my journey through cancer. And that is in my book, or I'm always happy to provide information about what I did in my own approach. And I am in the process of writing an article that I'm happy to provide for Dr. Keim that will be posted on SeleneRiverPress.com, SELENE riverpress.com, and you can type in my name in the box where you, I don't know what that box is called, the finding what you're looking for, that area. And it's the title of the area is called Doctor's Corner. And you can find my articles. I think there's a new one being posted today. And then my next one will be on my journey through cancer, a simplified version of my story.
Awesome. So, what's the best health and wellness advice you have ever given?
Well, of course, the advice I would give would be, I would give after I heard your story as an individual, to listen to your journey, because each of us on our journey through life, each of us is unique. For instance, all of our thumbprints are different. All of our heartbeats are different. All of the iris of our eyes are different. All of our gut biome is different. None of us is the same. So what advice I would give in general would be related to finding your personal rhythm, your ability to sustain that rhythm. And that is the rhythm of life, living an accurate life, a life that is disciplined, but it is also living your life, which you cannot live for anyone else, and no one else can live for you. How that is, how many times you eat a day, how many hours you sleep, what you expose your body to in the way of food and lifestyle, and even the friends that you select throughout life, all of that is unique to you. And so that would be, I would describe that as finding your rhythm.
Awesome. What is the most common challenge to health and wellness you are seeing right now during your practice right now, during your life right now?
Yes, I guess with the COVID outbreak that we've all been through the last, as I say, year and a half, we have, all of us have been challenged and have been uncomfortable in many ways. And so the most outstanding is in that we have had to go kind of what you could say, go into survival mode. We have gotten out of our rhythms that are healthy for us. As an example, I find that people, are staying home, of course, rightly so, but they're sleeping weird hours, they're watching weird things on TV, or maybe good things. They're eating a lot of junk food, that tendency to find those comfort foods, which are usually not always healthy foods. I'm not saying that all comfort foods. So that would be the greatest challenge that I would say right now, is to assist people in their isolation and loneliness, and what they have had to do to survive this and get through this and get back into their normal rhythms of life, to encourage them to just review what they've been doing and look at the areas that have not been serving them well. A lot of people have put on weight, as an example, in the last year and a half. And so that takes a tremendous amount of discipline and support. None of us can heal ourselves alone. We need each other. We need the guidance that helps us to stay on the straight and narrow path, I guess I would say. So that's the greatest challenge that I have seen in my practice in the last year and a half, 2 years.
So like you are talking about losing weight, because a lot of people really gain a lot of weight. So what would be the best way like to, to find, like I remember you always teach us like you want to find a village to help you, right, in terms of regarding the weight loss. Can
Right.
you like what's the best way?
Yeah. So as I say, each of us is an individual. Some people have more self-discipline than others, but enjoying good food together is a great example, though, again, a lot of us have not been able to do that of late. But if you are over 20 pounds overweight, here is how I approach this, then a lot of people just can't do this with their own self-discipline to lose weight. They need, as you quoted, they need to build that village of support around them, and that might be is it Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, any of those, and invest money that way in yourself. I don't have any that I recommend in particular. I guess Weight Watchers has been around the longest that I know of in my career, but have that support, and so that support means that you have guidelines, that you have guidelines that you can stay within, and so that you have the support of others to uh, to express yourself to them, to be with them, to say, yeah, I fell off the wagon today, so to speak. I didn't stick with it, and be honest about that, so that someone is calling to that higher part of yourself that only is interested in blessing you and supporting you and helping you. And so that's, in a short explanation, that's where I would say that to begin. Now, if you're under 20 pounds, then more than likely guidance from a practitioner like Dr. Keim. There are paleo diets, there are GAPS diets, and there are other diets that some people do really well with, other people don't do well with. So again, you need that guidance from a health practitioner to find out what your metabolic type is, how your rhythm of your life is. Intermittent fasting is a great way. If you can go 17 hours without food, you will lose weight. There is no question. But again, intermittent fasting needs guidance. You don't want to throw imbalances into your blood sugar levels and your energy levels. But there are very simple ways you can work yourself into, using intermittent fasting. As an example, if you're not using these other systems that have been created, as far as creating that village around you. So
That's awesome. So who is a health and wellness innovator you admire and respect?
well, I've spent my life, and I've based my book and my professional career based on the teachings of Dr. Royal Lee. He is the founder of Standard Process, and the teachings in the herbal field. Kerry Bone, who is really one of the top herbalists in the world. So I have followed those two men and their teachings, as I say, for 50 years next year with Dr. Lee, and then Kerry Bone since 2000. So, you know, over 20 years with him.
Okay. Are there any new health and wellness trend you want to try?
Well, as I just said, intermittent fasting is something that I've been working with now. You know, as you age, I'm past 69, heading to 70 now. So that's a specific, some look upon that as a specific juncture in your life. And as you get older, you don't have to eat as much, and you don't have to eat as often. You know, I'm speaking from my own personal metabolism. So intermittent fasting has been something that I've been very curious about. I've been doing myself, and it has helped considerably, because when we go through menopause in women or andropause in men, most people will put on 10 to even, as I say, 20 pounds, because our metabolism slows down. The gift of life, you could say, uh, is to keep you in the flow that is accurate to the cycle of life you're in. If you're less active and your metabolism is slow, there's a reason for that. You can't have a 25-year-old metabolism at 70 years old, because life is saying, I want to preserve you, Joe, as long as I can, as long as is possible, that is in the cards for you. And so you don't need to eat as much and as often. Uh, and so intermittent fasting really helps to reset your glycemic index and your metabolic index. So, and you it teaches you how to accommodate that in those cycles. So this is a new, fairly new on the health horizon and on the health front, that I think is helping a lot of people. And again, it is giving you guidelines to assist you in finding your rhythm, your glycemic rhythm and metabolic rhythm now at the cycle that you're in. You don't have the same body at 60 as you did at 30. So continuing to discover what that is and how to live in that body from 60 to 90 is very different, as far compared to living in a body from 30 to 60. And so, or from birth to 30. These are all different bodies that we have. Now, you could argue, the cycles are 10 years or the cycles are 20 years, but I do it in 30 years. So, but intermittent fasting to me is just a really fascinating and easy way, speaking of weight and keeping that balance energy-wise and metabolically in your metabolism for whatever is age or stage that you're at.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have been doing intermittent fasting for 2 years. It has been helping me get back to my pre-pregnant weight. So I'm really happy about it. But
Yes.
it does take a lot of discipline.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
not easy. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah. But as long as you get into the routine, you will be fine with it. So
Yes.
could you tell me more about like the 3 stages of life you were just mentioned? So you divided the life. Can you tell me more about like 3 stages?
Well, briefly, when we think of 0 to 30 is the years that we learn. In fact, most of learned behavior takes place in the first 7 years of life. How we are throughout the rest of our lives is what we heard our parents and our uncles and aunts and our friends and our teachers and and inspirational leaders, what they've told us about ourselves. And so after those first 7 years, then we're finding out a little bit more about who we are outside of that, and that takes about 30 years. 30 to 60 is living that life, maybe children, career, uh, and finding how what what we want to do and accomplish in this world. 60 to 90 is passing on that goodness. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. So there it is. And so, yes, 60 to 90 is when you write a book, is when you teach, as you're doing now, Dr. Keim. And that's it. It is to pass on that goodness. You know, I have so many things, wonderful principles of truth that both my father and mother passed on to me. But it was in that latter 30 years of their life that I really, they were better at teaching me those because they had lived 60 years. And so the living of life is it isn't just a training on how to function and survive this earth and this human life, but it's to bring the wisdom that we have found and others have taught us and we have found in our own living and pass that on. And so that's why, you know, at 60 years old, the rhythm changes whether you want it or not completely. You are not the same person between 60 and 90 that you were from 30 to 60. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
yeah.
So how can listeners connect with you?
Well, I have a YouTube channel. If you go on www.youtube.com and you type in Joseph Antell, you can hear my lectures. They're hour to an hour and a half, and there's notes in there. Also, I have a more spiritual website. It's called it's Joseph Antell, JosepHantell.org, and you can read my more spirit and hear some of my more spiritual lectures and writings. So those are the two main ways you can connect with me.
So is it possible will you have your book tour in the future?
Yes, I just waiting for the to be a good example, no matter what you think of how this COVID outbreak should be handled. I am very respectful, not to be for myself, not to be near too many people, and for me not for me not to expose and impose myself on other people. So that's my approach. So probably by the end of this year, end of the summer to the last quarter into next year, I will be traveling the country.
Awesome. That's such a, blessing for a lot of people. And my challenge for everybody here is to go walk in the nature for 30 to 60 minutes a day, and and go to bed with sun and get up with sun. I think this is a great wisdom and pearl like everybody can follow. I think that's so important for our health and wellness. I really appreciate your time and opportunity to share your pearl and wisdom with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kime. Blessings to you and to all who will come your way in your practice, come to your door.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.